This video is sponsored by Keeps. All right, man. As you guys know, the NBA season is now less than 1 month away. And as I'm sure you guys are too, I'm excited as hell. Now, I want to preference this video by saying this. This video will age bad. I'm almost 1000% sure it will. It's basically designed to. Please do not be in my comments or my mentions in May or April or something like that telling me something I said in September. These are bold predictions that I could see happening, but in no way, shape, or form am I guaranteeing, like at all. Now, before we get into this video, and trust me, I know exactly what I just said is going to go out the window and y'all gonna do it anyway. But before we get into this video, let me shout out today's video sponsor, a old good friend of the channel, Keeps. I know most of my subscribers are guys, so you probably should keep an ear out even if it doesn't apply to you directly right now. Studies say 2 out of every 3 guys, we're gonna experience some form of male pattern baldness by the age of 35. The best way to approach a common problem like hair loss is to be proactive and never reactive. Get way on top of it before it gets way too bad. Keeps. They're so advanced in the game that they actually offer a licensed doctor that will take a look at your information online and recommend the right treatment plan specifically for your hair. Then, after all that information is taken care of, they ship your medication to your front door every 3 months. You don't even gotta leave your house anymore. Also, with their doctors, you have 24/7 access to question them or message them and basically keep them on board with your journey. Lastly, they offer generic versions of their FDA approved medications, which ultimately makes their products a lot more affordable. If you want to keep your hair like I do, visit keeps.com/swishout or just click the link in my description. They're giving you guys half off of your first order, so it doesn't really get much better than that. Big shout out to Keeps for sponsoring this video and always looking out for my guys' hair. And let's get into this video.
How difficult is it playing with LeBron James?
It's not for everyone. And I mean that Jerry West had that famous quote where it was, all I want to do is win. If winning isn't the most important thing for you, then you're not going to enjoy being around me.
The Lakers will at least start their first 12 games under 500. LeBron James is one of the hardest players in the league to play with, especially at this stage of his career. Not solely because of basketball stuff exclusively. Mainly, it's the expectations that's immediately set as soon as you take the court with him. Also on a basketball level, players that's used to doing things their way, maybe on a less talented team, you're going to have to buy all in on LeBron James' system and see how you fit in. As you heard, Richard Jefferson talked about how tough it can be, and he was a seasoned vet when he joined LeBron. Rodney Hood, who really struggled with LeBron, he spoke on it. Chris Bosh, who was playing at a superstar level prior to joining Miami, he talked about it. Kevin Love, the same thing. So this is something that at least half of their roster has never played with LeBron before. Half of their roster, they have to get adjusted to this. The crazy part about all of this, you know, the only player in the league that I actually think it takes more adjustments and more learning to actually learn how to play with him outside of LeBron, Russell Westbrook, and they're on the exact same team. So now, and I'm not saying this to bash the Lakers or anything like that, like this is what I truly believe. Now, you have 2 guys that's, historically speaking, it takes time to adjust to, surrounded by players that's proud, accomplished, and they all have to find a way to contribute. That's tough. And for the people that's going to look at the schedule and say, well, they play the Rockets twice, they play OKC, they kind of have a soft opening schedule, that means nothing. And I'm about to show you why. Miami in 2011 with peak athletic LeBron and 2 other stars near their prime, they started out 8-7. Cleveland in 2014 with Kevin Love and Kyrie Irving, they started their season 5-7. Cleveland in 2017, I'm not gonna lie, this is kind of what this team reminds me of just a little bit. Remember when they lost Kyrie Irving and they replaced him by stacking the deck with all these all-stars out of their prime? Isaiah Thomas, Dwayne Wade, Derrick Rose, Kevin Love, like all this stuff. They started out 5-7 and they had some bad, and I mean bad, embarrassing losses. Also, Russell Westbrook. If you think a team is just going to adjust to Russell Westbrook easily, I don't think you know his history. In 2017, when he got Paul George and Carmelo Anthony, it took 30 games just for them to catch up to 500 again. Even last year, and I'm not going to hammer this too much because I know he was battling injuries to start the season and all that, but the Wizards GM even said, bro, it took some time for our players to adjust to playing with Russell Westbrook. It's a massive adjustment. So all things being considered, I can easily see this team starting out 5-7 as history even screams at us. The Golden State Warriors will make the NBA Finals. Yes, you heard me correctly. I know this sounds a little bit ridiculous with pretty much everywhere the Lakers being overwhelming favorites by everyone, but to me, it's not that bad of a take. With the West being significantly weaker, with no Jamal Murray, no Kawhi Leonard, the Spurs aren't what they used to be, no James Harden in the West, the Lakers, we don't know what they're going to be, the Suns, most people feel like that was a fluke. It wouldn't surprise me if by March, April, Klay Thompson gets his legs back under him, Andrew Wiggins, Draymond, Iggy, Moses Moody, Jonathan Kuminga, all those defensive players, they kind of take the pressure off of Klay to be that perimeter defensive stopper. And Steph, he finally gets that spacing back outside the gravity he creates for the team. It wouldn't surprise me if they got clicking at the right time behind an MVP type of season again from Steph. By the way, that's my MVP. It wouldn't surprise me if they got clicking and won the West. Last year, in both play-in games, literally the only thing that stopped the Warriors from making the playoffs was Steph not having enough offensive help. Basically, in both games, offensively, it was MVP Steph, a solid dose of Andrew Wiggins, and really whatever was left. In the two play-in games, Steph averaged 38 points, and they lost by an average amount of just 4 to Memphis and the Lakers. You can't tell me if they add Klay Thompson and the perimeter depth with the young guys from the draft, they can't at least make a push. The Utah Jazz will finish their season 70-12. Now, I know this one definitely sounds crazy, and again, I am not guaranteeing this, so do not be DMing me saying if they 0-2, man, your take is aging bad already. I get it. I'm not saying this is going to happen, but I can see it, and to me, it's not that crazy. Like I said, the West, it's not really the big bad West anymore. The Lakers, that's like the only team that most people consider to be real championship contenders in the West. Last year, after a pretty rough start beginning the season 4-3, the Jazz went on 3 different 9-game winning streaks, and Donovan Mitchell missed the last 15 games, and they still won 5 games in a row after that. Also, and we all know how their home court gets, maybe not for the best reasons, but we understand they have a true home court advantage. They went 31-5 at home. The only reason that I feel like they have a legitimate shot at being just the 3rd team to win 70 games in the regular season is they're just built to win regular season games. Great defensive team with a plethora of 3-point shooters and an emerging superstar with Donovan Mitchell. Damn near the exact same recipe the Warriors had when they won 73 games. Best defensive team in the league, best 3-point shooting team in the league. That same year, the Spurs, they won 67 games. What exactly did they have? Great home court advantage, only losing 1 game at home that year. The 2nd best 3-point shooting team in the league and a multiple-time defensive player of the year, just like the Jazz. So again, I'm not firmly predicting this or anything like that, but I do think they're going to have the best record in the West, and I can't see them winning 70 games. The Minnesota Timberwolves will be the 8th seed and make the playoffs. Even though I have big questions and concerns with how their players exactly fit stylistically, one thing I feel like always gets swept under the rug when people talk about this team last year is 3 of their best players missed a combined total of 87 games. 87 games. Most teams, matter of fact, bro, all teams, if you take away a 5th of their roster for a significant amount of time, especially if that 5th is literally their best players, they're going to be trash. Also, and y'all know I had to do this, man. This is my favorite player. Everyone is so quick to call D'Lo a cancer and say he makes every team he plays on worse and he can't contribute and all that stuff. Yet they forget that last year, D'Lo and Cat, they only played 24 games together. 24 games. The player he was most excited to join that team for, they only played a third of the season together. Imagine if AD and LeBron their first year only played 24 games out of 72. Like, of course they're going to be trash. Now adding Patrick Beverley, who I believe he's going to embrace that underdog. I need to give this team some juice, some fire, some competitive fire. Now having him on the team to help that perimeter defense. And like I said, I'm going to say this one last time. The West isn't that damn deep. The Pelicans ain't do much. The Mavericks, they really ain't do much. It's not that crazy that they can make a play-in tournament and who knows, sneak into that 8th seed. Paul George will be the 2022 MVP. Paul George is my dark horse MVP. I'm not even gonna lie and say he's my favorite because I got Steph, but he's definitely my sleeper. The Clippers will obviously be without Kawhi Leonard for however long. Hopefully he can come back for the playoffs healthy, whatever. But he's going to be gone for some time, and I think Paul George is equipped and prepared to carry this team. Last year, Paul George averaged 30 points, 11 boards, and damn near 6 assists after Kawhi Leonard got hurt in the playoffs. And yeah, his efficiency wasn't the best, but remember, he was playing against a Jazz team that had the Defensive Player of the Year and one of the best defensive teams in the league, and a Suns team that statistically was the best defensive team in the playoffs until they met Giannis. Imagine what he can do against softer comp because he's not playing the Suns and the Jazz every single night. More opportunities and motivation behind that big contract. Also, I don't feel like the Clippers are title contenders, obviously, without Kawhi, but I wouldn't be surprised if they creeped and, who knows, stole that 4th seed and got home court. Reggie Jackson literally played like an all-star last playoffs, and I just feel like given more opportunities, it's going to translate this season. Terrence Mann, as we all know, against Utah, he had huge moments. Serge Ibaka, he wasn't even there. Eric Bledsoe, he can be a solid 6-man. Like, if Paul George is averaging somewhere around 30, 8 and 5, and they make like the 4th seed in the West, bro, he's going to be in the MVP conversation. If you guys like this video, And matter of fact, before you leave, comment if you made it this far. Comment your sleeper player for this year's season. I hear a lot of people saying Keldon Johnson, Tyrese Maxey, Emmanuel Quickly, whoever it is, just let me know. Just let me know you made it this far in this video. I don't really do bold predictions and bold statements and all this stuff that people do for views. So I try to give you guys a thorough explanation with all my predictions, and I feel like I did a good job at that. Like I said, man, if you like the video, follow my social media sites. I cannot wait for this year's regular season. Do all that great stuff, guys, and until next time, as always, stay tuned.